One of the things about being a, for want of a better term, professional train nerd, is that my friends quite often vent at me about their particular frustrations with the rail network. On more than one occasion I have been the recipient of an exasperated text asking why it is such an all-fired hassle to change trains at Canary Wharf. Well, they don't say all fired, but I can't say what they actually said because kids might be watching this and I don't want to get into trouble. Still, I think it's worth asking, why is Canary Wharf so annoying and what can you do about it? So, for the benefit of my viewers outside of London, Canary Wharf is a major business district in the London Docklands, some way east of the city centre. It is a truly enormous development that has sometimes been nicknamed Manhattan-on-Thames. It's served by 3 different railway lines. There's the Docklands Light Railway, the Jubilee Line of the London Underground, and the Elizabeth Line. Effectively, each of these is a different station, and they're marked as such on a map. But normally you would expect these stations to be pretty well integrated with each other for the purposes of interchange. The oldest is less than 40 years old, long post-dating the concept of integrated transport. But they just aren't. They're located some distance apart. I've used them quite a few times and I still get lost. The routes between them are convoluted, unclear and often poorly signed. If you use the area regularly, it's probably second nature to you, but I confess that I, someone whose literal job is to know stuff about trains, find myself baffled. So why is this? Well, firstly, there's a question of geography. The fact of the matter is, this is not a good place to build a big station. Before the skyscrapers came, this was the site of the West India Docks. In the early 1800s, navvies carved great chunks out of the Isle of Dogs in order to create a modern set of docks appropriate to a world-class trading city. Well, the ships are gone, but we're stuck with the docks. Great big basins. Some of them have been partially filled in, but it still means that 2 places that might be quite close together as the crow flies are not particularly easy to get between on foot. In fact, there's so little space that the Elizabeth Line station had to be constructed inside an artificial island. Here's an interesting photo I found from during the construction of the DLR in 1986. What's missing from this photo of Canary Wharf? The answer is almost everything. There are no skyscrapers. At that time it was derelict dockland and abandoned warehouses. In fact, the name Canary Wharf comes from a fruit importer that was based here. The plan was for low-rise development, light industry, small office blocks, that kind of thing. Canary Wharf Station was built accordingly. Now, I do not have any photos of that original, smaller Canary Wharf station in its completed state, but the DLR stations of the time were built to a modular design, so imagine this station with this station's platform shelters, and you'll have something very close. A small, simple 2-platform affair. The trouble was that when the station was designed, no one knew what was about to happen to Canary Wharf. The announcement that it was about to become an enormous commercial development, to rival the City of London itself, came suddenly. The scale of the structures built for developers Olympia and York prompted the DLR's engineers to return to the drawing board. The station under construction would never be sufficient. So a new station was designed, the grandest on the network. Between 1987 and 1991, the old stop was a ghost station. Automated trains would stop there in accordance with their programming, no one getting on or off. Finally, in 1991, the new station opened. It sits between 2 shopping malls. All the better to make the most of the space, but still a mighty confusing thing to navigate your way through. The Jubilee Line station was constructed to improve connections between Canary Wharf and central London, partially at the behest of Olympia and York, who ponied up some of the dough. Not necessarily on time, the property market at the time was, shall we say, fickle. The station itself had to be constructed away from the DLR station, because there were honking great skyscrapers all around that, which in turn made the journey between them convoluted. The argument that could be made here is that basically changing trains is not the purpose of Canary Wharf. TfL classes it as a destination station, a place that people go to. With that in mind, Canary Wharf tube station is excellent. It's a cavernous station with speedy access from ground to platform level. It's architecturally striking and easy to use. It's just not great for interchange. This not greatness of interchange continued with the Elizabeth line, which, as discussed earlier, was built into the artificial island in the North Dock known as Crossrail Place. It's a pretty straightforward interchange with the Underground, relatively speaking. Turn right out of the tube station, head straight through the shopping centre, and there's Crossrail Place. But again, with the DLR, not so good. Basically, the DLR seems to be the problem here. Fortunately, there is an alternative solution. The stations on the DLR are very close together. Either side of Canary Wharf you have West India Quay and Heron Quays. If you need to change from the Elizabeth line to the DLR, you might be better off going to West India Quay. This has out-of-station interchange with the Elizabeth line station, which means that you will be charged the same fare as if the two were a single interchange. There's also out-of-station interchange between Canary Wharf Elizabeth line and Poplar, which is a junction station and so offers a greater range of DLR destinations than Canary Wharf or West India Quay. There's another out-of-station interchange which is not shown on the tube map for some reason, but you can change trains between the Underground and Heron Quays. If you step out of the main entrance of the tube station, Heron Quays is on the left side of the basin directly in front of you. Depending where you want to get to, there might be better places to interchange than Canary Wharf. The Elizabeth line also meets the DLR at Stratford and Custom House, and the Jubilee line at Bond Street and Stratford. The Jubilee line additionally meets the DLR at Canning Town. Canary Wharf might be an impressive and financially important development, but when it comes to changing trains, it's more like Can't-Airy Wharf. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this poorly situated tale from the tube. If you did, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. I would like as ever to thank my donors on Ko-fi, on Patreon, and here on YouTube for your generous support. You are the out-of-station interchange to my illogical station. And I will see you all again very soon. Cheerio.